Here she is.
So I'm Idit Ohel, and I think from the 7th of October, I'm Alon Ohel's mom. I've been his mother from the moment he was born, but I introduce myself as his mother because I'm here for him, for his voice, I guess. Before the 7th of October, I taught art in middle school, and I do art. I'm an artist myself. And after the 7th of October, I'm here to save my son.
Can you tell us a little bit about Alon?
Alon. So, he's my first child. And I think from the moment that he entered this world, he loved music. When he was in my tummy, I used to take a microphone and put it on my tummy, and he would listen to Mozart and Bach. That's why when he came out, I thought that he really knew music. And when he heard it, it made him feel really soothed, and it helped him, I think, in all his life up till now. And I think now mostly, music is really a part of him, you know. At the age of 9, he told me, Mom, I want to learn the piano. And I said, wow, it's a good idea. Sure, let's try that. And he loved it. As he grew up, I think he found that music is something that's meaningful for him, you know. So the house always is with music. Music is part of, you know, the house, the feeling of, even today, we play Alon's playlist.
What's on his playlist?
He loves jazz. He loves Israeli music. Guy Mazig, obviously, Shlomi Shaban, Tuna. And he also likes, you know, great pianists. So Elton John, he loves Elton John because he's a good pianist. And, you know, when he plays, he learned classical music and he played a lot of that. But as time went by, I think jazz was more his thing. And he really loves to improvise. So I wonder if his music would be different and how it would be different. Sometimes they say that artists make music and write songs. Usually the best songs and best music when they're down, when they're, you know, like in a very dark place in their lives. So maybe from that comes light and beautiful music, and I wonder.
Can you take us back to your October 7th? How did it play out for you?
Well, we woke up in the morning. Okay, let's go do our walks. Usually Saturday morning we go and walk a little bit with the dogs. And then my father calls us and says, do you know where Alon is? And I said, of course, he's at the party. I said, no. Do you know where Alon is? I said, why? What's going on? You have to open the news. Talk to him. See, I've been sending him messages. He doesn't send me back. He's not answering his phone. So I'm like thinking, Dad, it's okay. He's at a party. Everything is okay. So at about 7:30 in the morning, 7:50, something like that, my husband sends him a message. How are you? Where are you? And at 8:08 o'clock, Alon sends us a message saying that he is in a bomb shelter and he's fine. So time passes by, and my daughter calls Alon every 10, 15 minutes. She calls him and calls him and calls him. And then around 11:30 in the morning, somebody answers the phone, like really horrified. And this person, she says, everybody's killing us. They're killing us. Help us, help us. And I talk to this person. I tell her, okay, what's your name? And she says, Amit. Okay, where are you? I'm in Reim. Do you see Alon? No, I don't see Alon. Okay, and I'm just trying to tell her to send me where she is. And the phone goes dead. We're thinking, okay, we know something is wrong. At 2:30, somebody takes the phone again, and we hear this person saying that he's in Soroka Hospital. And we're thinking, okay, maybe Alon is there, you know. And we send him a picture of Alon, and we're telling him, okay, this is Alon's phone. This is a picture of Alon. Do you see somebody like this? And he says, no, I don't see. So my husband decides to go to Soroka, and when he's there, like about an hour trying to find Alon, maybe he's there, maybe he got really wounded, nobody know who he is, like a Jane Doe thing. And I'm waiting for him. I don't know what's going on. And when he comes, he says, okay, sit down. I want to tell you something. Alon was kidnapped. And I'm looking at him, and I'm taking a good breath, like a really good breath. Thinking, okay, you have to breathe now. You really have to breathe. Everybody's looking at me. My son is looking at me. My daughter is looking at me. My husband is looking at me. Taking a good breath. And I said, okay, so we have to fight. And I know from that second that I am not going to be in my bed crying, and I have to be active. And another thing I understand is that I cannot control what's going on with Alon, obviously. But I can control to what house, to what home he will come back to. And he will come to a strong, healthy, loved, and safe home. And that's what I have to do. So from the 7th of October, that is what I'm doing. So I don't let fear and I don't let grief be in front of me. Because I am not a victim. I was not a victim before, and I'm not a victim after the 7th of October. And when you are not a victim, you don't ask questions like, why? And you don't point fingers to who. You just do. You continue doing and being for yourself and others. I was thinking, how can I connect with Alon? Obviously, I cannot call him. Hi, honey, how are you? Are you eating okay? So how can I connect with my son? And I thought of two things from that moment also. Music, because music is part of Alon. And also I believe in meditations and energy and things like that. So I'm thinking, let's do these both things, right? So I started doing community meditations. And my husband, Alon's father, Kobe, started to do community runs. Because that's also energy, because Alon cannot move, right? So we have to move for him. And we have to bring this energy to him. And the music.
Yeah.
So putting a piano in the central of Tel Aviv, in the Hostage Square in Tel Aviv, and the piano, it's a yellow piano. And many people ask me, why yellow? Why it's called a yellow piano, right? So yellow is sun. Yellow is light. And Alon, you are not alone, is saying that there is light upon you. That the person, the musician, the pianist that comes and plays, gives light and hope to Alon for playing for him in an energetic way, right? Mm-hmm. Because he's thinking about Alon when he's playing.
Yeah.
The piano did a lot to the square and to the people, and it's a big thing. And I thought, okay, how can the world know what's going on? And I thought that maybe if I brought a piano like that to other places in the world, it will be amazing. And on the 100 days, was the 14th of January, a piano was set up in Washington Square in New York, and in Berlin, and in Amsterdam. And it was beautiful because many people came and played the piano, and people gathered and learned about Alon's story. And through Alon's story, understood all the hostages. And I believe it gave hope to everyone. When I was in Berlin, I met this woman. It's an amazing woman. She's 102 years old. She came to the concert, right, for Alon. And she survived the Holocaust. And she's 102, and she's talking to you like she's 16. And she takes my hands and she says to me, she cannot believe what's happening. It's like Auschwitz all over again. That's what she said. But then she looked at my eyes, right through my eyes, and she comes really, really close, and she said, very quiet, hope. You need hope. This will save us. Hope. And I said to her, yes, hope. Yeah, hope.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning every day and I think, okay, what next? What else can we do?
Do you have like any kind of like a routine? Are you able to maintain any kind of a routine?
Yeah, I meditate every morning and every night before I go to bed and every morning when I wake up. And then I start with calls. Sometimes I'm being interviewed. Sometimes I go to Tel Aviv, to the center, to the square. And sometimes I go abroad and fight for him and tell about his story wherever. You know, when Alon was around with his friends, everybody was together, and he was the one that made everybody happy. So if they're all tired and they don't want to go anywhere and go to the party, he comes into your house and he has always like a bottle of wine and a smile on his face, and says, well, get up, we're going to have fun. He does that. He does that. He makes people feel good about themselves all the time.
It sounds like he's a lot like you.
Yeah, you think so? Well, he's my son. I don't know if he's like me, but he's very intuitive and he loves people. He appreciates the little things of life. He was supposed to go live in Tel Aviv on the 20th of October with 3 of his best friends. They had an apartment set up, and obviously it didn't happen. And a week ago, and I opened this, they came to my house and they brought me this key, and they said, you see this key?
It's for Alon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when he comes, there's a room set up for him. They're so kind. You know, they didn't have to do this. You know, they could leave their lives and find an apartment for 3, but they didn't. They found an apartment for 4. They come here all the time. And they come here because they tell me that I give them hope. It's funny. That's funny. But they tell me that all the time. They say, you know, you're such with such hope, and you see life always pink. You know, you see life in a pink way. And I say, really? Yeah, and you give us hope every day. So we need your energy to go through the day. So they come here, and I said, okay. You give me also. I
can totally see that. I can totally see that.
It's the only way, for me anyway, to cope. And even though I'm a strong person, every day is hard. Time is an essence, and they have to come back home now. That is why it was very important for me to do this big thing in Zikim. You know, bringing live music that Alon loves to him, to make sure that he hears it and gets a lot of energy from that to be able to continue to survive. And also to say that no more, that we have to open the hearts of everybody who is connected to this thing, if it's politicians, the government, if it's Hamas, if it's whoever, to open their hearts and think about what it is to be human. It's taking too long, and every day it's harder. It's harder. I talked about energy, and I talked about the fact that I want the music to get to Alon, right? So we sent a post saying that any musician that is singing or playing at their homes, at a concert, doesn't matter. When they're sitting and playing, just think about Alon. Please just think about him. Because when a musician plays, it's like meditation. It has power. And I thought of, just think about him. You will get that. You will get that. And Avishai Cohen and Shlomi Shaban, so many were so moved by that. that they wrote us that they were doing that and they want to do something more. It came from them.
I always ask this at the end of the interview, but is there anything that I didn't ask that you wish that I did ask, or something else that you would like to add?
Yes, there's something very important.
Okay.
I've been talking and sharing my story and Alon's story, and I want to ask whoever is listening to do something. If anyone will just do something good, giving, something that's good for somebody else, but think about the hostages when they're doing it. Even one hostage. Think about Alon, think about Hirsch, whatever. And it doesn't matter what age you are. You give your mother a cup of tea and you think about Alon. That is wonderful. And I'm thinking, walk the dog to your neighbor, to a friend, and think about Alon when doing it. Yeah, doing a good thing for you, but in a conscious way for somebody. Do something that makes you feel like you are doing something meaningful and important to bring the hostages back home. And it starts with small things, and then it depends on each one of you what you can do, but you have to do. It's not enough just to listen. You have to do something. So do something nice.